Hey guys, Roddy Walker here. Today I just want to go over a little bit more in detail about the credit bureaus and how they work with the lenders and just give you a little bit more details. Maybe this will help you get more approvals in the future. Maybe it will just help you understand credit more as a whole. What I do is I go to this website. It's called doctorofcredit.com. I have it pulled up on my phone. If you want to take a look, we'll push it over there. And you know, the first thing that I kind of type in is credit bureau. That's the first thing I type in search, and what comes up for me is what credit bureau does these institutions pull. And it's got Wells Fargo, it's got US Bank, Discover, Citibank, Capital One, Barclay Card, Bank of America, basically any major institution it's got. And you just click on it. I just usually scroll down to the bottom and it tells me the different states, because different states actually look at different credit bureaus scores. So let's say since I'm from Oregon, let's just say we're in Oregon. You can see that the score that they're looking at for Oregon is TransUnion. So that's what they're looking at in Oregon when you're doing a US Bank credit check. It's important to know what score they're actually looking at. You can look through any institution and kind of see if one of these would be right for you, and that way you can pick the one that will give you the best odds. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that, and I'm going to go over into my FICO. The important thing I want to stress with this is it is a $40 a month app, but there is a reason why. And if you watch any of my videos between Credit Karma and my FICO, stuff like that, then you'll understand that this has more scores in it. Like, my FICO is more effective for finding credit scores because it doesn't just have one credit score. So as we're in the app, we're looking at it. You can see my scores went up a little bit since the last few videos. But yeah, we're going to go into credit cards because that's very simple. Everybody, for the most part, should know what a credit card is, you know, unless you're like super young or you're not from around here. Yeah, so basically there's multiple different types of scores that you have. You have the FICO Bank Card Score 8. You have the FICO Bank Card Score 5, 4, and 2. You have the FICO Score 3. You have the FICO Bank Card Score 9. And I hear rumors, well, not rumors, but actual facts that the FICO Score 10 will be out soon. As far as the dates and stuff, I have no idea. I've just heard online that it will be coming, so that's exciting. What all these mean, basically, and Credit Karma will kind of explain this to you too, is that lenders, each FICO score is built with different criteria. It's like an algorithm that comes up with your score, and different scores are factored by different things. Like, let's say one score is more harder on late payments. Like, let's say FICO Score Bank Card Score 8 is it's more strict in this area, like on late payments. And then let's say Bank Card 5, 4, and 2 is more strict on inquiries and stuff. Like, none of that stuff is probably true, but I'm just trying to get you to understand the difference between these scores. FICO Score 8, that one's not the newest one out right now, but it's like the second newest one. And it has a high lender usage right now. And then the 5, 4, and 2 is kind of the older one. It's more stricter, and you know, not as much lenders are using it as FICO Score 8. It will show you it has medium lender usage. And then you got FICO Score 3, which has a very, very old score, and it only has Experian, and it has a low lender usage. So not a lot of lenders are using this. And this is also another point, guys, that I have to say as I remember it. My FICO is the #1 used credit app in America for lenders. So when lenders come and look at your credit, 90% of the biggest lenders look at the FICO scores. So if you're wondering what your credit score really is, these are the guys that invented these scores. That's why they have so many of them. They invented this. So as we go back to it, we kind of see the differences between each scores, and that helps us figure out, should we actually apply for this, or should we try a different card that has a better score for us? So typically the newer scores, I felt like you could get away with more. So if you find out that institution is using that, you might want to get that card, because they're using the newest model and they're not as strict on some things, or vice versa. They are more strict. You want to know that in advance before actually applying for that credit. So I'm going to go right back into Doctor of Credit just to give you guys a better understanding, because I don't know if I'm being clear enough about this to make it make sense to you guys yet. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time going over how this actually works. You have your 3 different credit bureaus, and they're all different scores, right? Because they're all reported different for whatever reason. These 3 different credit bureaus all have different scores. And so when you go to US Bank, they might use TransUnion, or they might use Equifax, or they might use Experian, or they might use Experian and Equifax. They might use like 2 different scores. You want to know what score they're going to look at, because your scores can vary. Like one of your scores for TransUnion can be 30 points higher than the one from Equifax or Experian. So like if you're going to apply for that, obviously the higher the score, the better rewards that you get for applying for it. So you get a higher balance, you have a higher approval rate. There's a lot of reasons why you would want to know what score they're actually looking at. When I go down here and I look in this thing, let's go right back to Oregon. I know that they're using TransUnion when they're factoring in whether they're going to give me credit or not. But if I lived in, let's say, Maryland, they'd be using Equifax. If I lived in, let's see here, Colorado, they'd be using Experian. These credit bureaus just are choosing which method they want to use for their company to determine whether they want to approve you or not. How this works with mortgages is there's only one actual score that mortgages look at, and that's your old, I believe it's 5, 4, and 3 score is what it's called. Let's go back into my FICO app one last time. As you can see, it shows the mortgages tab, so we'll click on that. There we go. 5, 4, and 2. There we go. Not 5, 4, and 3. 5, 4, and 2 score. So your FICO 5, 4, and 2 score will be the determining factor in whether you get a credit approval or not. So if your 5, 4, and 2 score isn't good, you just have to improve it, because that's the only score that the mortgage lenders are going to look at. As you can see, I'm scrolling. There's no FICO score 8 for lenders. There's no FICO score 9 for lenders. Only 5, 4, and 2. If that will ever change, I'll be the first one to let you know. But for right now, there's only the 5, 4, and 2 score that lenders look at. So you just have to improve that score. If you've never gotten a mortgage before, which I haven't, I'm in the pre-approval process of getting one. But if you've actually never gotten one, your score is probably going to be lower than all your other credit scores for, like, let's say auto loans and credit cards, because those ones you have a higher chance of actually, you've probably tried to get them or got them before, so you probably have history from that. And if you don't, that's okay. But I'm just saying your mortgage one is typically lower than those ones because it's harder to get than all of them. It takes a lot more to get that stuff than to get a car or a credit card. That's basically all I'm saying. Moral of the story, guys, is that you want to know which score your lender actually uses. And so the best way to figure that out is just to hop over to doctorofcredit.com and just figure out which institution you're applying for. And if it's Capital One, whether it's US Bank, Bank of America, whatever it is, I would pick the one that your highest credit score has. So if your TransUnion one's the highest, if your Equifax is the highest, if your Experian is the highest, pick the one that's the highest, that looks the best. And that should give you better approval odds, better limits, everything that you would want in credit. All right, guys. Well, I hope this wasn't just complete, confusing stuff today. But either way, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. And I really appreciate everybody who's subscribed to my channel. It's cool to see people in the credit community, financial community, taking a step and actually trying to improve their lives. And, you know, that's why I'm here today. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Leave some questions down in the comments. If nothing made sense to you, I can try this again. So appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.